My boyfriend always tries to manipulate me by making me doubt what I think and say. My friend told me this is emotional abuse and gaslighting. What are the warning signs of gaslighting and what should I do?
Yeah, so very much related to this, that gaslighting is this idea of working to try to get someone to distrust their own perception of reality, and that what you're seeing, you're not seeing, what you're hearing, you're not hearing, what you're experiencing in this situation isn't real, in order to cast doubt on a person's own experience, in order to get them to do or not do the things that you want them to do or not do, right? So oftentimes it is about trying to get a person to not have boundaries, not say no to things that are not healthy, things that are abusive, things that are manipulative. And if I can, if you can punch me in the face, I go, hey, that hurt. You punched me in the face. I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't punch you in the face. And that, you ran into my fist. And then, what? I was just standing here. I was just standing here with my arm out, and you ran right into my fist. And then I would never punch you in the face. Why would you even say that about me? Right? And it's that emotional blackmail, mission of pacing. Why would you think such a terrible thing about me? If you loved me, why would you kind of characterize me in this terrible way? I would never do that to a person. And so it's like, well, did I run into his fist?
Right. And you mentioned that doubt that it brings in. I also think of shame as something that comes into that too, because then you just all of a sudden get in this place of like, oh my goodness,
what's wrong with me?
I'm a problem. I, thought too quick, spoke too quick, totally spoke out of turn. I think it's like this mix of doubt and shame that come over us. And a lot of times, force us into this silent place of hurting.
Totally. Because again, it's playing off of the things that are very good inside of us, right? Like we don't want to jump to conclusions and judge people unfairly, right? That's maybe a value that we hold. And so to be told, why would you judge me like that? Why did you do that? Well, I don't want to do that. That's not who I am. That's not what I'm trying to do here. And it's leveraging that virtue within us, that part of our character, to manipulate the situation and try to make us not address the situation. Now suddenly the conversation has become about how I'm unfairly accusing somebody, as maybe, my nose is bleeding from being punched in the face. Right? The subject has suddenly gotten shifted away from the problem that I brought to surface, and maybe the confrontation would go, hey, this doesn't feel good. Hey, I don't like the way this went down. Now we've diverted over into these other things, and it's the kind of manipulation that really unhealthy and destructive individuals engage in. But it can be really candy coated. It doesn't come with a big flag that says, hey, this is manipulation. Hey, this is unhealthy. It can come in really benign looking packages.
Right. Well, and especially when you are in love with someone or care deeply about someone, I mean, it's sometimes very difficult to see that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And sometimes people will believe their own baloney. It's not, and which makes it really difficult to identify the lies kind of within the manipulation, because sometimes people are fully convinced within themselves that a lie is the truth. Right? Like it's very difficult if I'm able to convince myself that you ran into my fist, then it's going to be really difficult and confusing conversation, right, about what happened here. Because I'm going to be adamant about what happened because it's what I've convinced myself is true. And it makes for a really murky, kind of head spinning kind of dynamic if there's attachment in a relationship, right? Like if you care about me, that we have a attachment, connection, relationship, then it gets kind of messes with your head.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So, I mean, what would your recommendation be as a licensed counselor? What would you say if this girl was, sitting with you and telling you this struggle that she's having with her boyfriend? What would your recommendation be moving forward?
Yeah, community is a really key protector against this, right? The manipulative people try to isolate you from your community, right? They try to isolate you from people who care about you, because people who care about you are going to see that kind of dynamic, and they don't have the same kind of attachment with the other person in a way that becomes like a confusing lens for them. And so they look at it with a little bit different perspective. They're like, this is nuts. What's going on here? Why are you letting this happen to you? Why is this happening in a situation? They want to come to your defense, and they're angry about what's happening in the situation, because you matter to them and they care about you, and they don't like to see this happen with you. But if you're isolated, then you're not sharing with people what's really happening in your life and in your relationship, so they don't know what's going on. You're not engaged in them. You're not having authentic community with them. And so the safety that can help provide in your life, by having others that can look at it and go, hey girl, what's happening here? Why are you letting this take place? Do you see this? Do you see what's taking place here? Those conversations don't happen if you're not in community. So the best thing that you can do is be able to engage and allow into your life, your circumstances, the people who love you and care about you, and that are safe and that you trust. And it's very possible and likely that you're isolated from some of these, is when you get in a relationship with manipulative people, and they kind of try to position relationship in such a way so that you don't share what's really going on in your relationship with others. It's part of where the power comes from in the dynamic. So it's possible that you have those people in your life, but you haven't been letting them in your life and what's going on. And so you're kind of stuck, and you're not likely going to be able to get out of it without the support of some good, healthy community around you. So let some people in your life. Let them know what's going on. Allow them to be a reality check for you against when things get foggy and your head gets a little turned upside down from the manipulation, to be able to help you cut through that and see through that, and to be able to support you and encourage you, so you have the emotional support to say no and have boundaries with that sort of thing.
That's good. Yeah, absolutely. I think I can draw from my own experiences also, and times when there have been issues and people have spoke into my life and spoke into me things that I didn't recognize, truth that I needed to hear and didn't know I needed to hear. So I think that's great advice just from someone who has been in a very similar situation. That is fantastic advice on something to do.
We all have blind spots, every one of us. Right? There's these psychologists that created this thing called the Johari Window, which has this really funny and original name from the the psychologists Joseph and Harry, who came up with it. They call it the Johari Window, but the word picture is this window with 4 panes in it, right? And one pane, one quadrant in this thing are it's the public sphere, right? It's the things that you know about yourself and everybody around you knows about you too. Right? And so you're aware of these things in you, and those who are in your life and around you know these things also and see these things also. And then there's the private sphere, this quadrant are the things that you know kind of about you, but you don't share with those in your world around you. And so but others don't know kind of about you. And then there's the blind spot integrator. These are things that other people see about you that you're not aware of and of yourself. Right? That neither that you don't see, you can't see, but those around you who care about you can see these things. Right? Your blind spots. And then there's the window of things that you don't realize and others don't realize either. Things that are going on with you that you don't have a grip on, you're not consciously aware of, and others don't understand or see. Only God knows and really understands. And that the Holy Spirit has to illuminate and bring attention to those things because they're not coming to light. They're not going to be understood otherwise. And the two bars, the cross panes, those windows, they move. So each square is not equal in size, right? They can move in different size. And when we have a really small public kind of box, that there's a limit to the things that other people see and know that we allow into our life and allow to experience us. We really are limited in the benefits that community can bring into our life. And when we are unwilling to look in the mirror, that we're unwilling to allow others to hold up a mirror to us in our life, then that our blind spots are really big. And we trip over things that others can see what we're tripping over, but we ourselves can't see what it is we're tripping over. And so we just get stuck in the same patterns and cycles because of that, when it didn't have to be that way. That if we engage humbly with community and allow them to hold up the mirror and for us to see what they're seeing, then we could shrink that window and have better insight into ourselves and our situation, which is a huge benefit to us all.